Lucanyo, give us the latest from the dialogues.
Alicia, thank you very much. Yes, we continue with our broadcast from Cape Town, where we continue to bring you, of course, the dialogues that are taking place as part of the National Foundation's Dialogues initiatives. About an hour ago, the 200 or so delegates broke up into smaller groups, where they could then discuss some of the issues that were raised earlier in the morning, from the issues that were raised by the faith-based community, the youth, as well as the business community that had obviously all contributed in their conversations, and basically asking how it is that we can move the country forward in terms of social cohesion. And one of the people that was there joins me now from the IJR, Mr. Tian Meyring, who's a researcher there. Tian, thank you very much for joining us. As a researcher, what was your impressions of the discussions that took place this morning?
Thanks, Lucanyo. Yes, I think it was a very critical engagement at times, but also very constructive. They were really, people spoke truth today, which really helps. It wasn't just discussing around a lot of the issues. When we broke into our groups, we could also internalize a lot of what was being discussed. And what they did, they started in the groups, kind of asking us to look at the vision. Where is it that we all want to work towards in 2025, for example, which was a helpful exercising to realize that everyone, at the end of the day, there is a shared vision, something that we all do want to work towards. Finding that common ground was important. But then also from there on, looking to internalize it a bit with what can you do from your sphere of influence where you're working? How does it look there? How do you build social cohesion there? How do you address some of these challenges there where you are as well? So yes, the breaking down of the group specifically now was a very useful exercise and a very fruitful one as well.
Now, you work obviously in the research, and you're researching social economy. What are some of the issues that weren't raised here that, you as the IJR feel is important, or that we are not doing to try and engender a culture of social cohesion in the country?
Yes, thanks, Lucanyo. Yes, I think there were certain related themes that came out. For example, some of the questions on education, access to education, and land as well, the land question. What we see in our research a lot of the time is there's sometimes a dialogue fatigue because of a lack of implementation on the material side of things. When you speak of economic issues, people are excluded still. It's difficult when there are such large social and economic distances, inequalities if you want, between people, to really have that sense of unity and interdependence. There's still a large sense of injustice. If you go and look at our South African Reconciliation Barometer, some of the data we get there is people still identify inequality between rich and poor as the biggest divisive factor in South Africa. People still say, the large majority of South Africans say, if those who are disadvantaged under apartheid are still poor, we can't have reconciliation. And that's a finding that we don't find for one specific grouping. That's over all racial, class groupings, over genders. That's nationally, that is the finding. And that were some of the discussions that came out here as well, that we lack this socioeconomic base, this material base. And I think there's a lot of frustration there when we do a lot of community dialogues as well, a lot of the people at the Institute, and they tell us people are frustrated, especially when they go and speak to the youth. There's a lot of frustration because there's still this inequality that's based on a system of injustice that people feel are not being addressed as it should be addressed. And that would definitely be one of the major obstacles that needs to be overcome. And practically, not only just having talk shops about it. And I think that's where we're moving towards with this discussion, is how do we practically go out there to confront the system of exclusion that people still have this large anger and frustration with.
All right. So just to summarize what you're saying, the lack of economic progress for those people that were underprivileged, if I can call it that, in the apartheid years, is now essentially holding us back from proper social cohesion. Am I understanding you right?
Yes. To just kind of give an idea that poverty is still black. And that is a frustration. And it's not just that it's inequality per se, but it's based in a system of injustice. So you can multiracialize the middle classes and the upper classes, but that poverty is still black, that people still don't have access to basic education, that they have to pay half of their salary just to get to town to come and look for a job, as was mentioned today. There's a lot of discouragement and frustration with that.
All right. Thank you very much. That was Tian Meyring from the Institute for Justice and Reconciliation talking to us about his sense of what he got from the discussions that are taking place here, as well as the research that they're finding themselves as the Institute, which basically, in his words, poverty is still black. And because poverty is still black, it is holding us as a country, as a society, it is holding us back from social cohesion. Alicia, for the time being, that's it from us in Cape Town. It's over to you in studio.
Thank you so much. Lukhanya Qalata, live to us from outside Parliament.